Today we are going to give a secondary shout out to factoring when there's not a greatest common factor to take out. Now, is that going to be true for all of these? No, I blended some of the ones from 11.3 in here. So you're like, so how am I going to do or know when that's true or not? And here's the answer to that question. When you're looking to factor anything, we'll start at number one. That's as good a place as any, right? Always look to see, not on the equals 0, but on the other side. Is there anything that both of those terms have in common that you can take out of both? Looks like anything in common there? Maybe? I know you see something that's the same in both of those. Like K, all right? So we're going to take one of those out. Okay, we only can do that if every term has something I can take out. It's not going to happen often on this page, but it will happen now and then. So once I take that K, or that K to the first out, we go back into the same mode we did before with greatest common factor. We're going to subtract exponents. So 2 minus 1 gets me just K. If you want to put K to the first, you can. And I get here, and I'm like, Hardy, there's no number there with this. I mean, I could have a 1 here, but there's no number. So we'll just keep the number. And 1 minus 1 is 0, so there is no other K to put there. Once we're factored, and this is going to happen on a couple more on this side, once we're fully factored, we take each piece and set it equal to 0. And then solve the equations if they're even solvable. If it's already equals and K is by itself, we're done. We're good. We're set. But if not, we take a moment to solve that one. Simple equation. We're done. Now again, not every single problem on here is going to work that way. I'll even give you a hint. The only other couple of places you're going to see it's 11 and 12 because those are the shorties, okay? Those are the ones that only have a couple of terms. The rest of them are going to set up very similar to what we had yesterday. Okie doke. Yep, thank you. So, if we're looking more towards yesterday, 3 terms here, nothing that all 3 of them have. Like here, these 2 have X, that doesn't have X, so I can't do it. I could probably find a number that went into 14 and 48, but this doesn't have a number, I can't do it. So what we're going to do is exactly what we did yesterday. We're going to label our B. We're going to label our C. And just like we did yesterday as well, start both of these with X's, and now the fun begins. A we are not concerned with, at least at this point. We will a little later in the unit. So here, 48. Now, before I even bother with the 48 part, the plus in front. If your C value is positive, both of these are going to be plus, or both of them are going to be minus, okay? The way I find out is by looking at the sign in the middle, which is minus. So these are both going to be minus. Now I'm ready to take out my number chart again, which is just in the back of my notes. I just happened to tear mine out. And we're going to look at 48. Okay, here's my 48 box. I need to find a pair of numbers that in this case can add me up to get to 14. And so I go through, yeah, and I get down here and I'm like, well, 6 and 8 can. There won't be. Good question. Yeah. You'll never find an opportunity where you're going to have 2 sets that are both going to work. No. So here, and if I wanted to check, you're just taking these 2 numbers and seeing, hey, if I multiply them, do I get the number on the end? I do. If I add them up, do I get the number in the middle? I do. And since we have the equals 0 and it says solve right here, and I think it was Aiden that mentioned yesterday, hey, doesn't it just change the sign for my answer? It does. But if I forget that, or I am more of a visual learner, I'm just going to do my opposite of -6 and get my answer. I'm going to do my opposite of -8 and get my other answer. So when I'm doing these, the big key is in that last number and the sign in the middle in one way or another for me. So here's where that comes into play again. If I move this down a little bit, let's say we do 4. A little bit different. Here's my B. Here's my C. Get my parentheses ready to go here. And if you want to change, if it changes like to R or N or something and you just want to use X, that's fine. I'm not going to gripe. So this time, my C value is negative. So if my C value is negative, it's one of each sign. It does not matter where you put the plus and where you put the minus.
+2.
But here's the thing. Now, since it's one of each, I'm looking to see where can I find a pair of numbers that are that far apart. When I have 3, I don't have many choices. It's got to be 1 and 3. So I look, this number, okay, that.
Wait, I thought it had to add up to C.
Okay, so it's going, well, no, it doesn't add up to C. It multiplies to this, it adds up to B. Okay. Okay, wait. I can't have both of you going at the same time, so just a second. When we're doing these, okay, the number on the end, we multiply the two numbers we're going to choose to get that one.
Oh, that's only the same.
Yeah. And then we add to get the number in the middle. So I look and I'm like, okay, it's got to be 3 and 1. That's the sign of the bigger number. So if it's 3 and 1, it's going to work like this, because 3 times -1, -3, that works. 3 plus -1 is +2. If you weren't sure about the signs, or let's say you put the 3 here and the 1 there, when you'd go to add them up, you'd be like, wait, that's a -2. That doesn't work. Oh, I got to change them around. This is more teaching you about number sense than it is anything else. Or at least trying to get you to number sense is the goal. Guess and check on these is a definite option. Like I said, if you're not sure which number goes in each place, try each one and then just do the adding together and see, does it get me the number in the middle? If it does, great. If it doesn't, I know it's the other one. So let's play that back again.
So 3 be 5.
Yep. Let's play that concept back again. I'm going to move down to number 8 because I want to see how this works again. Okay, so we got C. We got B. Parenthesis here. I'm still going back to X because that's just what seems to be more consistent for us. And so again, I look. C is negative. If it's negative, we got one of each sign. So I look and I'm like, okay, so 8, let's see here. I need to get to 2. I mean, I know it says -2, but if I add or subtract 1 and 8, I can't get to 2. With 2 and 4, I can. So again, if the only other thing I remind myself of with this when I'm picking where to put them, that's the sign of the bigger number of the pair that I choose. 4 is bigger, 4 goes to the minus. Because I know some of you are still thinking, Hardy, 4 plus 2 does not get me to negative 2. It gets me to 6. But one of them has a negative. So it will, because I look now and I go, okay, 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Okay, that's good. 2 plus negative 4 is negative 2. That's how I figure out how I'm going to get there once we've got the two different signs. Yeah.
The bigger number, what sign?
The bigger number gets the sign of the B term, the middle term. That's always going to tell you the bigger number sign right there. So like when we did number 4, the sign in the middle was positive. The bigger number was positive. Here, the sign in the middle is negative. The bigger number is negative, is what we're looking for with this. And it's like anything else. You're going to hit some bumps in the road. You're going to switch signs, or you're going to make them both negative when there should be one of each. It's going to happen. It would ding you for 1, but you'd still get credit for doing the factoring part.
Not like,
Yeah.
Not like just like adding the equal 0, but we still like do it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Not exactly.
We do that part where we do x equals negative 2 and x equals 4, but we just forget to like after the parentheses.
Now, like you just circle that and you're done.
Yeah.
It'd be like 1 point off, because if the equal 0 is there, we still got to do the solving part. Yeah. So one last one on this side. Trying to see what other ones that we've done. How about we'll do 7. So I'm looking again. My notes. Oops, I was going to say, can't lose my notes. All right, let me get my... If you get into a habit of doing the same thing on every problem, it just kind of gets you used to doing things. So I look this time and I'm like, okay, C value is plus because I got it on my notes. Well, are they both going to be positive or are they both going to be negative? Again, the sign in the middle tells me what I need to know. So these are both going to be plus. And 21. I need to get to 10. 1 and 21 is not getting me to 10. Add, subtract, nope. 3 and 7 can get me to 10. That'd be good. Well, does it matter where I put them? They're both the same sign, so no, it doesn't. You could have 7 here and 3 here. It wouldn't make any difference at all. Because I'm going to have the same values. The key here again, and it's so true in math, you have got to get repetition with certain things. We can expand to other stuff later, get deeper on things. But if we don't practice enough to get the basics, you're not going to. It is not how math works. Other subjects you can get away with it sometimes, math, not so much. Not so much. So anytime you see the equal sign in 0, we've got to do that last part once we get to the parentheses. Otherwise, we get ourselves in a little bit of trouble. Now, as we get to the back, this is nice because we're going to start getting you ready for the preview tomorrow. So, yes, sir. Okay. For which one? Sure. 21 and 1 is not going to get you to 4. Yeah, those different signs, you're going to be able to get there. So factoring by grouping, this is 11.3. It's D's. Telling you, having the examples, there's a benefit. I'm just saying. So I get back here, you're like, oh yeah, this is the parentheses stuff. So first set, second set. We're going to forget that second set exists for a minute. while we're working on the first one. So here, I'm back to my chart because it says we want to find the biggest number that goes into both of these. So I look in my 25 box and my 35 box. What's the biggest number you see that they have in common? Take that part in. Biggest number in common between 25 and 35. 5. So we get that. And then if both your terms have a variable, and they do, we take the smallest exponent off of one of those. See what? Are you on the back of this page? 17? On page 14, number 17. Is that how we're getting there? And so once I pull out that greatest common factor, now we're just going to do division. So we divide the bigs. 25 divided by 5. Calculator, if need be, is A-okay. Subtract the exponents. 3 minus 2 is 1. Okay. Divide the bigs. Negative 35 divided by 5 is negative 7. Subtract the exponents. 2 minus 2 is 0, so no more b's. That's the only one that I need this time. And if we remember back to when we were doing this, you now have a clue for the second part, which is when I get to the end, in my leftovers in the parentheses, they should be the same. We're hoping. So let's see here. 40 and 56. 40 and 56. All right, let's see here. 40 and 56. Biggest number in both boxes. That's all I gotta do to get people quiet. Oh, Lordy. We're gonna keep being consumers. Okay, 8. 8. Since there's a negative there with it, we're gonna take the negative with. I normally just take the sign of that first number with me. It's the easiest way to keep track of things. Now we go into the division game. We're hoping. Negative 8, positive 5. So far, so good. There's no B to take away here. We get to keep it. We're good so far. Oh, last chance for disaster. I hope not. Negative 7. Same thing. That's what I need. If I don't get that, I did something wrong. So I'm not an English teacher. Well, in this case, I did not did something wrong. So, to write my answer, you take your greatest common factors, the stuff on the outside, you put that together in one set of parentheses. And then the common set you have, the 5b minus 7, goes in the other one. I do not need it twice. I just need it once. And I'm set. So I've got to watch when I'm doing these for things like that. So let's say we're doing 19. Yeah, let's do 19. Pair this off.
We don't need to solve it.
Yeah, no equals 0. So we're just factoring and we're done. So I get here. We'll get that second one covered up for a minute here. 2 and 3. Okay, let me find my 1. Yeah, 2 and 3. We just got 1. So 1 v squared, because again, that's the smaller exponent. Straight into division mode. 2 divided by 1. Divide the bigs. 3 minus 2. Subtract the littles. And if you're not sure about that part, you can even put that on your note sheet. I don't care. That's what I tell you people. If you come up with stuff that I don't put on there that helps you, do it. 3 divided by 1 is 3. 2 minus 2 is 0. There's the magic set of parentheses I need on the second one. Now, I will say one thing here. I had a student ask me yesterday, and it was a good question. Well, why don't I just put that over here automatically then and figure out the outside number from that? Well, what if I accidentally do this wrong sometime? Now I'm kind of screwed up for everything, and I don't want to be screwed up for everything. So, 14 and 21 are my next boxes here. What's my common term here? 7. And that's a plus, so I'm just going to use plus. 14 divided by 7 is 2. That's good. Still got my V. 21 divided by 7 is 3. Whoop, whoop. We're good. Common terms. Together. Common set of parentheses. Together. And we're good. So that'll be upcoming on the quiz. We'll see that again tomorrow on the preview. And so the last portion, we got a little taste of it at the very beginning, but not until here. This, when it says factor out the common factor of each expression, we're not going to be full-blown factoring on these, just the common factor. So, let's see here. 14 and 21, I swear, I just saw this. What's the biggest number that comes out of 14 and 21? Still 7. Hardy, do I take out -7 since that's negative? You could, but you don't have to. I know that sounds so terrible. But let's just say we would. Can I take an X out this time? No. All my terms would have to have X. They do not. So -7 is the only factor that I'm taking out. And now it's just divide the bigs. Whoops, that's not where I want to be. And the variable terms come along with. There's nothing to subtract. We're just going to divide. Keep the variable term. If you would have taken out 7 instead, the signs are just going to be changed on those. But that's it. Nothing complex.
And why do we go with -7?
You don't have to. If you went on this, just to let you see, if you took out +7 instead, these are the exact same thing in the end. You could write either and be correct. So that's the one thing with factoring the common factor out. The numbers, we're going to have some options when we're trying to work those. So one more. We're going to do 27 because I want to find one where we got a little of everything. Okay, 27, 24, and 21. Let's see if I can fit all these on here. We can. 21, 24, 27. Biggest number in all 3 of those boxes. Are we bigger than 1? Three. Okay, so we can get a 3 out of all those. Can I get a variable this time? They all have variables, so if they all have variables, I just have to take the smallest one, or if I see one that doesn't have an exponent, I take that. So I'm going to put the 1 with it, though. And now our only job left, the division game. 27 divided by 3. 3 minus 1. Again, you're not dividing with exponents. You're subtracting. Take signs along with. Negative 24, take that with, whoops, not times 3, already divided by 3. Subtract your exponents. Divide your coefficients. Subtract your exponents. 1 minus 1 is 0. No n there. I'm done. You just got kind of a really nice preview of the quiz preview, except for a couple of little things. So, again, take these, update them, work through some more, check answers on Classroom, where I've got the key up here in front, and awesome. And if you still need notes, all of them are right here. Update them before Friday. I will not be your notes Friday. So as long as you get that set, we'll be good. I'll put this back up in case some of you are looking.